In this makeup tutorial, we're going to make it look like we are actually a painting, so let's get started. To start off this makeup, we're going to go and very lightly apply a gray base to around where our eyebrows are. We're going to put this just slightly up, along with also two very lightly dab cosmetic onto this portion of our face. You do want to go and drag it slightly, but you also just want to go and layer this. Think of this makeup almost like painting with watercolor paints. You're going to very slowly layer the different colors, wait for one layer to go dry, and then add some more to the next. We're going to continue to add this gray to right around where just our top eyelid is, a small portion of our bottom eyelid, along with also outline one side of our nose to go and give it some shadow. We're also going to go and create this line that goes from where the eyebrow is down to almost where the tip of the nose is. Use our finger to go and blend it out. And we're just going to go and continue to add a small amount of this gray pigment. While some of that cosmetic that we just put down dries, we're going to go over to the edge of our nose, add a bit of a darker shadow, and we're just going to go and blend this. Now we're going to extend this down slightly as well too. Now that that last layer has dried, we can go and extend this slightly, along with also just make it a little bit darker on this side of our nose. We can also go back over to the other side, add a small bit of shadow in the inner portion of where our eye is, along with also under the eye. Add some shadow to the other eye at the opposite end, blend that. And really what we're going to continue to do is we're just going to continue to double up on some of the different areas that we've already put down some of this gray cosmetic to go and just build a bit more shadow. Now I'm just putting a small amount of this cosmetic over here just to go and make it look like my cheekbones are a bit more exaggerated. This is going to really make things pop, and I'm using just a very, very small amount of this gray. And I'm going to do the same exact thing on the opposite side of my face. I'm just making a little bit less intense on one side and a bit more intense on the other. I'm also adding some of this cosmetic over to where my temples are, just to go and give this some shadow. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to try to do this on the other side, along with also just go back to some other areas and double up on a bit more of the shadow as I go. Now I'm going to go move on to the under portion of where my lip is here, add a very small amount of the shadow here, and now we can go back to over our eyes. I am using this darkened red color, and I'm just very messily putting it on, and as you can see, it's pretty transparent. You can see my natural flesh underneath it, and it still has a lot of that tone from my natural skin tone. Now at the bottom portion, I'm putting a bit of a darker red mixed with a small amount of the gray cosmetic that we used initially. At the edges of my eye, I'm putting some of this red too underneath, and I'm just going and adding some shadow with it. I'm using a little bit of this red too as almost like a blush, we'll say, stacking it up a very small amount in the center of where the upper portion of my cheek is, going and doing this on both sides, extending down some of the cosmetic there, waiting for it to dry for a couple of seconds. Before it dries, I'm going to go and blend my cheekbones. Then I'm going to go and add some of this red over to my lips. I'm doing this pretty messily. I'm doing it on the upper portion and also the lower portion. Going and adding and stacking some pigment. Waiting for that to go and dry. And I'm going back with some more red over my cheek here. Now I'm going to go and use some white cosmetic. I'm going to be doing this on the lower portion of my eyelid, and this is really going to go and make my eyes pop after the fact. This is going to go and add some glow to a couple areas of my face, such as my eyes, the inner portion of where my eye is as well too, at that little corner section, along with also my nose. So I'm adding a small amount to the tip, along with also over on the bridge of the nose, and I'm going to go and just slightly blend that. I'm also going to be adding some of this very lightly to where my eyebrows are, where this little divot of my lips are, along with the edges. I will blend that too. And this is just going to make everything really glow, along with also just make some of these different areas really pop like you would see in a normal painting. Now I'm going back over with a darker gray at where my hairline is to go and give some extra shadow here. I'm also going to go and move on to some of where my chin is and also where my neck is, and this is really going to go and give this makeup just a bit more of that shadow, and that's going to make everything really pop. Now I'm adding just some more white cosmetic after some of the other stuff had dried underneath the eyebrow, messily above here, and I'm making it look like there's some light that's popping off of here, going and putting some onto my cheek, blending that out slightly. That's going to make it look like there's a spot that's really bright here where the light is touching, along with also just putting some of these little lines on my lips. I wanted to follow this up with some very roughly drawn lines as well too, just to go and outline some of where the different details would be. If I were doing a watercolor painting, I would kind of do the same exact thing, especially for something of where I wanted to go and show maybe like a more well-defined face. So I'm just adding these little tiny messy black lines, and this is going to go and help to outline some of the different features of my face, along with just give this makeup so much more depth. I'm adding some little lines where my cheekbones are, against where this light is on my face, along with also just at the edges. Now here's the final makeup after everything has dried, and I really do honestly love how this turned out. I think this is just such a cool makeup to go and do, and it really does look like a painting. I absolutely love it. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can find more tutorials along with also Halloween related content on my profile.